How are you?
Good.
Quiet. We'll get started in like 5 minutes. There's a couple more people signed up that aren't here yet, so if you want to scroll through your Instagram or stare at me. How many of you have been to Three Jewels before? Cool. And the rest of you are new? Nice. How'd you hear about it? Okay. No, the episodes are free. You can bring your own.
We're live and broadcasting.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess I'll get started. Looks like most of us are here.
I've got a couple more people just changing.
How's the temperature for everyone in the room? We had a nice steamy yoga class in here before, so that's why it feels like a steam room. But we can keep the fan on the entire time and the door open. It's not a disturbance for you guys. Hey, welcome.
Hi.
Hello. How are you? These are free. Get up close and personal. Is there anybody else out there when you want this?
I think you're good.
Okay, cool. Hi, all.
Hi.
How are you tonight? Cool. My name is Steven. I know some of you, but a lot of new faces, which is really exciting. So I'm the director at Three Jewels. I've been doing it for 6 years now. I was new to New York and I met Hector. This is my partner here. And then I kind of fell into studying Buddhism and meditation. I was not doing that before. I was partying and doing drugs and all that fun stuff. But I was anxious a lot. I had a lot of anxiety. I still do, but I've figured out some ways to overcome it. This is kind of like me right now. I'm constantly like a little chihuahua, so put me in any situation, and I'm like afraid or nervous about anything. And I thought, I've come so far in my own practice that I thought I would share it with everyone because New York City just breeds anxiety. It's hard to live here. I mean, to make money, to afford where you live, so that you can live here, but then you have to afford where you live. It's like this vicious cycle, and it's got like 9 million people, and you have to be on the subway, close to counters, and it's just nonstop. So it's hard. And as soon as I announced that this was going to be a workshop, everyone was like, "Oh my God, I need that so bad." So I was like, "Yes, okay, cool." So I'm happy to be sharing, and I want it to be interactive. So I really want to workshop like whatever you're dealing with. I want you to come out feeling like you have some new tools to deal with it. I think we're all here dealing with something similar, anxiety, right? Anxiety is very broad, so there's a lot of different things that you could be experiencing. But we're all in the same boat here. So let's get started. Oh, and I have a bunch of memes to go with the entire.
Is the fan okay for you? Is it, yeah, sound wise? Cool.
Welcome to the anxiety workshop. So happy she sat there. No, I'm just kidding. So I wanted to lay it out as a statistic. 40 million adults, anyone that's over the age of 18, that's 40 million adults in the United States that are dealing with some anxiety, and that's actually like recorded. So how many people do you know that are not either diagnosed or have been like recorded as a statistic? I haven't. Like I've never gone to, I've never been like clinically diagnosed with anxiety, but I'm sure that they'd be like, yes, you do. But that's a lot of people. I mean, there's 9 million people in New York City, so I'm sure that's like, now you have, what, 31 million? Because I'm sure it's like all of them. And then also to just give you like some perspective, that's more than Britney Spears' followers. That's twice as many Britney Spears followers. And we know that most of Britney Spears' followers are over the age of 18, so. But it's still less than the amount of followers that I have, so that's cool. But I wanted to break down like this idea, or this, this idea of anxiety is vague. It's this general thing. It's either like you're afraid or nervous. But I wanted to. This is the Webster definition of it, so we can dissect it. So anxiety. A feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease, typically about an imminent event or something with an uncertain outcome. So mull that over for a second. Let's dissect it. Feeling, so something we feel. Worry, nervousness, or unease, typically about an imminent event or something with an uncertain outcome. Does anybody see any faults in that? Or do you want to add or edit anything to that definition? Feel free to shout it out. Nothing? You happy with that? Happy with the anxiety definition? I see one fault. So, an imminent event or something with an uncertain outcome. So, an imminent event, like the fact that we will die at some point, right? And an uncertain outcome, meaning nothing is permanent, or you could die tomorrow and you don't know, like you never know when you're going to die. So it's like you always have this lingering behind you. You have that one fact. I mean, that's the two facts of life. It's like you will die and you don't know when. Can anyone disagree with that? And then taxes, right? So but those are the three things that we're living with. There's nobody that lives without that. It's not even just for humans, it's for every single living being. Animals are eating, and we think that they're so cute, and the birds are chirping up in the trees, but they're just like afraid, and they're just trying to get their food and not die and not be eaten by something else. So we kind of have the same life, but we're not afraid of getting eaten by something else, but we don't know when that subway is going to, run us over. It's probably not a good metaphor, but you know what I mean? Like, it could be anything. I'd also like to point out that Seinfeld, the actual logo, that's the same amount of letters for life ends. So it's a really brilliant tattoo, as well as the nothing is permanent tattoo. But okay, so why am I bringing this up? I'm not here to depress you. I'm here to pull you out of any wrong view. So if it's true that this is the definition of anxiety, and we're nervous about an imminent event or something, hello, welcome, or something with an uncertain outcome, then we should be, in fact, nervous about every single moment, because we never know what's going to happen next. Does everyone agree with that, right? So why is it that we're anxious about certain things? Like, why is it that I sit in front of a class and I'm like nervous, like a little chihuahua. Why? And then somebody else sits here and then like they're great at public speaking. Why is it that there's certain things that we have? Do you have an answer?
Because it's easier to attach your anxiety to the image of them other than something within a certain outcome, which is life in general.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, and like when past events that are similar go wrong, that is like, I feel like it's
You're like trained.
Yeah.
We've had like this, like we've been trained like Pavlov's dog, especially with like negative things, right? Yeah, good answers. Both really good answers. Hey Jeremy, there's plenty of room for you. Yeah, so those are great answers, and I will revisit this in just a moment after I take a sip of tea. So I want to talk about what it feels like to have anxiety, because it's one thing to define it, but it's like a very visceral thing. We don't always know when it's going to happen. Like, you know, I was on the subway the other week and I felt just short of breath all of a sudden, and I was like, okay, don't panic. And then I was like, okay, don't panic. Oh my God, don't panic. What? I'm telling you not to panic, I'm panicking. This is not what I'm trying to do. And I actually had to call Victor and I was like, hey, I'm kind of freaking out right now. I don't know why. I'm just like short of breath. You know, I'm feeling a certain way. And he was like, okay, do you want to come home? And I was like, I think so. I feel like I'm choking, but there's nothing in my throat, and I don't know why I'm feeling this way, and like I don't know if it's in my head, and then I was just like in this loop of racing thoughts, you know, so all these things that are here. So does anybody want to add anything to this list? Because this is kind of a list that I found online real quick, but I feel like it sums a lot of it up, but anybody else want to add something to this list that I can't think of? Yeah.
fear of losing control.
Fear of losing control. Oh my God, I'm so happy you said that. I'm a control freak. Is anybody else here a control freak? Okay, cool. Glad you guys admit it. If you are a control freak, then it's really hard to live with uncertain outcomes because you're like, I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. And yeah, so thank you. Yeah.
Muscular tension.
Ooh, yeah, so the physical thing? Yeah, totally. You look like you want to say something. No, okay. Yeah.
Loss of appetite.
Loss of appetite, yeah. I totally feel that because when I've gone through like my darkest days of being anxious, I lost a lot of weight because I just wasn't hungry. So it would take, and I'm already a very skinny dude, so like it would take me working out or something just to have an appetite, which was like counterintuitive because then it's like burn calories to have an appetite. But that's a good one. I wish I could add it as we're going. But
It's a negative self-talk,
yeah,
like you're just blanketing yourself down constantly. Like, don't get anxious, don't get anxious.
Yeah.
So it's like a negative implication.
yeah, and like what goes hand in hand with anxiety? Anybody? Yes. Depression.
Yeah.
This is not a depression workshop, but you know, like you just keep it in the back of your mind that this can help both because they really do go hand in hand. And the negative self-talk is like really what gets me into a depressive state. Because I'm like anxious, and then I'm like, wow, you suck. You got anxious again. Depressed. Just it's like gut this opening, like spilling of the heart. Like there's no hope there. Anybody else?
An ability to focus, and this might tie in with racing thoughts, but when you're just kind of scatter-minded or you're just obsessing over that one thing and you're not able to do things you need to.
Totally. Yeah, totally. Yeah, sorry, man.
I find myself like dependent on other people, kind of, but then also like nervous around other people.
Interesting.
So it's like this weird battle.
Yeah, okay. Do you have an example?
Okay, well, like I just moved into an apartment alone, I'm kind of nervous to be alone. And so I'll like always try and make sure that I have somebody to hang out with.
Uh-huh.
But then when I go and hang out with them, I'm like nervous about everything that I'm doing. I'm like, oh shit, they think I'm weird when I do this or that.
Yeah. Hector was just, this is my partner who, for those of you that just walked in, raise your hand, Hector. Old man, yeah.
The old man.
He was just away for 2 months, which is the longest that we've been separated. And I was like, what do I do without you? But it's funny because it's like a roller coaster. Like at first, I was like, yeah, I'm free. Like, I don't need like a boyfriend all the time. Like I can be independent. And then like 2 weeks in, I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do. And then like the anxiety sets in. So yes, I definitely relate to that. Anybody else want to add to this list? Yeah.
Pain.
Pain.
Pain in the body, yeah.
What does it feel like?
I think different thoughts. I've just been trying to tune into my body when it's feeling pain. And I've noticed that different anxieties, different thoughts about certain things hurt differently. So like, I'll feel like a tightness in an organ. And I'll try to breathe through it to relax and release that thought.
Totally.
Yeah, other times it's like a chest tightness, a heart tightness. Yeah, and it moves.
Does anyone ever feel like their skin's on fire when they're anxious? Like not literally on fire, but like almost like electricity running through. Yeah.
That's the worst on the subway in the winter. I always have to like take off all my jackets.
It's too hot.
Yeah.
It's too hot.
Yeah.
I feel kind of constricted.
Yeah, that's why or even the muscle tension, I would always feel it here, and I'd be like, oh, maybe I need a massage. And I remember once I did, and she's like, there's nothing there. And I was like, just push on that little bit. I think there's something there. But yeah, like especially when I never knew they were anxiety attacks till somebody told me afterwards. I was like, yeah, I would have to just take off all my clothes. So they're like, that's not normal that you're having an anxiety attack. I was like, but that happened a lot. And I was like, just carrying like all my jackets on the way to work.
Yeah, isn't it interesting that we experience things for a period of time without knowing to put a label on that? And then when you have a label, then you can go right back. I don't even know if it's a good thing. Like, it would be nicer to not have the label, because once you start having any of these symptoms, you're like, it's anxiety, like right away, but it might not be. You know, you could be in love and your heart's racing, and that's not anxiety, that's just your heart racing.
Yeah, they got other things.
You're taking for your clothes and it's not anxiety.
It's not anxiety.
Cool. Yeah, that's up.
Sometimes I feel like I can, like, as well as racing thoughts, like I can feel like I'm in shock where I'm just like not even present.
Like totally disassociated almost?
Yeah,
To what you
disassociated, like not present, like just undermining myself, you know, like just no self-faith.
Yeah.
Just like, I'm just gonna, like, anticipate the worst, I'm gonna go for the worst, like that's my goal, you know?
Yeah. It hurts to hear. Did you want to add one?
Yeah, I did actually. Sorry, I just saw it when you understood. I was just gonna say procrastination and avoidance. I don't think anyone said that.
No, that's a good one. Yeah. It really hurts to hear like that we experience all these things. Like, doesn't that suck? Just hearing, you know, you guys don't even know all of the people in this room, but it sucks that everyone has to deal with this. It's really shitty. So let's fuck anxiety. And I want to hear how you guys currently deal with your anxiety. So we can do the same thing. You can shout it out, or you can raise your hand, whatever. But how it's up.
CBD oil. I was gonna answer the question.
Yeah.
CBD oil.
CBD oil, cool. Actually, I asked this question on Instagram as well. And that was one of the biggest answers. So CBD oil, cool. No judgments here. I don't care what you say. Don't think because we're in like a Buddhist room or meditation yoga studio that you can't say something. I've done it all, so say what you want.
I like just start doing this, just like doing things that you love, like whatever it is, whether like art or, you know, dancing, singing, whatever it is that you love, just do it. And then I was also the one on the Instagram to say smoking fat one.
That's fun. I showed back to that.
Yeah, is that you?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. It's like, check this out.
I was like, that was me. Cool, thank you. Anybody else want to add what you guys do to deal with anxiety? I mean, you've got to, like, if you're here at this workshop, working out, cool. Everyone's got
That
to
really comes to heart, because you're like busy doing something physical.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, on that note, for me, it's two things, either hiking or I can also detach from things on my phone and can really remove myself. And then more in the city, I use text. Also similarly.
Yep, nice release.
Yeah, it's like a body thing.
Totally. Gets you out of your head too. Yeah.
I try to meditate for 5 minutes every morning.
Round of applause. Amazing. That's really, like, you're in the, you know, top 1% of people probably doing that. I can't even say I do that myself. I try. But yeah, what's up?
I like to leave my phone at home and go on long walks with no destinations.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's if I have nothing to do in that period of time.
Yeah.
Know that I can allow myself to take that time to reflect.
That would honestly give me anxiety. I'd be like I just left my phone on the table over there, and I was like, fuck, where's my phone? And it was like maybe 2 minutes of not having it. Yeah, so that's cool. It would probably actually help after like 30 minutes of not having it, but those first 30 minutes would really help. Yeah. This workshop is, I'm just actually getting information from you so I can deal with my own anxiety, so just give me more insight.
Taking breaks off social media.
Taking breaks off social media, yeah.
Singing.
Oh, nice.
As like a distraction, but also as like a means of directing your breath.
Nice.
Without really having to do it consciously.
Are you a good singer?
I don't know.
I am not a good singer, but I love doing karaoke. If you guys ever want to do karaoke. All right, what's up?
I was gonna say, just because the procrastination one's a big one that I do too, and then the fear that I'm procrastinating and also the fear of doing anything, so then I just do nothing, but then I fear that more because nothing gets done. But is actually if I pick one thing that I'm procrastinating to do, but I break it down the most smallest step, and then if I can just do that one thing, then I feel like I kind of beat it, and then I feel more, and then my anxiety turns into like more pride. Like if I had to clean my office, I had to break down the shelf, and then I wanted to put something else in there, and so instead of going like, oh well, this is the end result, if I can just get a screwdriver from the garage, break down the shelf, and then that's it, then I'll be happy. And then usually like during it, even though I'm just like, oh my God, I can't do it, I don't believe myself, and blah, blah, blah. Once it's done, I go, it feels better because then I did the thing that I was too anxious and I couldn't believe I could do. And then if I want, I usually can continue, or I'm like, well, I broke myself on bed, switch it off. And then I can like, I leave it at that, and then I don't feel as like anxious like that about it.
Cool.
Feeling present. I think sometimes when your like thoughts are flying everywhere, it's kind of coming back to like naming like what's happening. Am I really in imminent danger? No. Like I have, just kind of naming things that are present, that are there to kind of like bring my kite-like mind back to the ground. And also helping other people. I think sometimes like putting that energy like outside of myself towards someone else really helps quiet that down.
Yeah, like
Helps in a way.
facing the lens the other way. Yeah. Cool. Let's see if we nailed them. Oh wait, this is what I do. Does anybody know Kendrick Lamar? Huge fan, sorry. This is one of his lyrics. Not the top part, but just the, and then I freaked it. Anyway, so let's see if we nailed it. Drugs and alcohol, check, right? I don't think CBD oil really falls into drugs and alcohol. Weed, I would put there. Physical exercise, right? Check. I actually separated yoga from physical exercise because this is what 3 Joules is all about. We're not trying to do like a fitness. We're trying to actually manipulate the energies, the subtle energies in our body, and that's a lot different than physical exercise. You could probably do it with physical exercise and running and stuff like that, but you just have to be more mindful. But yoga is really like meditation and movement together. So anyways, plug. Therapy, right? Prescription drugs. I separated that from drugs and alcohol because somebody actually prescribes you those. It's kind of the same thing. Video games. This was an answer that I didn't think of. This was on my Instagram, and I was like, oh yeah, like there's a huge amount of people playing video games. I mean, that's like the next biggest sport out there. I don't know if you guys have seen that, like sport arenas being filled with video gamers. So that's a huge thing. Netflix, me. Meditation, nature, food. How many people like just binge eat when they're feeling some sort of way? Yeah. And music. I think singing would fall into that. But a good song will really get me back into a nice state of mind, or put me into one. So, okay, here's the fun part. We're gonna workshop this. So I want everyone to write down what makes you most anxious, and don't put your name on it. We'll pass that around. You can keep the pen. They might not work that well. If they don't, just throw them at me. Just let me know. We'll get you a pen. And then also, now's a good time if you brought pen and paper to take it out so we can actually take notes. Because I want you guys walking out of here with like some things that you can be like, okay, what did he say? Yeah, that, I'm doing that. So who doesn't have a piece of pen? Who doesn't have a piece of paper? 1, 2, 3, 6. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay. I'm gonna rip out 18 pieces of paper. Make sure I have it. I think 14. So, you have paper too? Yeah.
Put that like a name on it. Yeah?
Yes.
Oh yeah, don't write your name on the small piece of paper. Just put what makes you anxious. Put what you wanna. It's gonna be what you're workshopping today. What?
Throw it in the fire.
Oh,
and then it's just like magic stuff.
It's funny you say that because that's kind of what we're doing. Yeah, I have to rip them out.
Can you get the paper?
Thank you. Here, Cindy. There, so that's it. Yeah. The main thing. You can write down more than one if you want. But on the single piece of paper, just try and let's just do one. Yeah, do one. On your other piece of paper, if you want, you can put the other ones. So is everyone cool with that? So on the small piece of paper, just put one thing that you want to work on. And then on your the other piece of paper, if you have more than one thing, you can write it there.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Pens?
If not, I'll.
Oh, I need this actually.
Like little pieces of paper.
Oh, you need a little piece? Alright.
So I'll give you this for the little piece of paper.
Ask me.
Because I think that's finished. Yeah? What makes us most anxious? Do you want to borrow that? Yeah.
Oh, is there more paper?
No, there's no more paper, it's actually.
It's just, that's it? That's okay, you can leave it.
But you put yours in there, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, no, we're not doing that. Yeah, no. Hold on to your piece of paper. Yeah. Sorry. I know you thought that because I said don't put your name on it, but it's tricked, yeah. Rachel, did you ask if the door should be open?
Yeah.
It should be.
We should.
It's kind of warm in here.
Okay, yeah, it is.
We've been fighting with our building to put the AC on, that's why it's not. Soon though, you know, when we won't need the AC, that's when we'll get it. Looks like everyone's done. Okay, cool. On the count of 3, everyone's shouting out. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, I just have like interspersed memes throughout this entire presentation. I thought that was fun. All right, so we've already covered all of the methods that we use for handling our own anxiety, right? Some of them actually include Eastern methods, yoga, meditation. A lot of them are learned, like whether it's drugs or alcohol or fitness or whatever it is. But today, what I'm going to teach and what I want you guys to walk away with is 3 new methods for dealing with your anxiety, and not just dealing with it, but ultimately like getting rid of it. Imagine never having anxiety again. So these 3 things are the 4 forces of purification. These are really cool to destroy any anxiety that comes up. And then the present moment, like when you're having anxiety, I'll give you a technique called Nahi Shodhana. And for going into the future and planting good causes for perfect peace of mind, this is going to be the 4 steps. But this doesn't work unless you understand one fundamental concept. And for those of you that know this already, you're looking at me like, oh, here we go. The pen thing. So if you've heard this before, there's probably a reason that you're hearing it again. If you've never heard this before, pay close attention. So what is this?
A pen.
A pen? Cool. I think everyone can agree with that. It's a beautiful golden pen, right? But it's a pen, right? I mean, there's no denying that. Hold out, you're right, oh, it's a pen. If a small little dog comes in here and I show this to the dog, what are they going to do with it?
Look at it.
Mic drop. So crazy. Okay.
Say dog again.
So if a dog comes in here and I show this to the dog, what are they going to do with it? They're going to bite it? Right. So what is it for them?
A toy?
Yeah, right? It's like a chew toy. So you're like, stupid dog, stop chewing on my pen. And they're like, stupid human, like, why aren't you chewing on that chew toy? So for the dog, it's a chew toy. For the human, it's a pen. I don't think we can deny that.
Well, I mean, it's a chew toy sometimes.
Yeah. But, right. So this is how wars get started. It's like, no, it's this. No, I swear it's this. But, okay, now let's do something fun. If I put this down, and everyone leaves the room, there's no more dogs, no more humans, there's nothing in the room. What is this thing at that point?
Metal.
Metal?
Pen still.
It's a pen still? Anybody else?
Shape.
Shape. What's happening in your mind? Is there some sort of like disconnect happening? Like, if there's no dogs and no humans in the room, what is this thing? Shout it out if you, with us, just shout out whatever you're thinking. Huh?
Neither.
Neither? Yeah. It's like,
Nothing.
Nothing. It's like infinite potential, right? There's nothing. So then, okay, a human comes back into the room. It's weird saying that. A person comes back into the room. And their eyes make contact with this thing. What is it at that point?
Pen.
Pen. You're not supposed to answer. You're
Sorry.
supposed to- It's a pen, right? So human sees it, it becomes a pen. So is the pen coming from it, or is it coming from me?
It's what we denote the pen to be. It's what label we give it that makes it so.
Mm-hmm. So it's coming from me, right? So there's no penness emanating from this thing saying, I have a pen, right? And the dog's like, oh, it's a pen, but I'm gonna chew on it. It's like, no, it's a chew toy for a dog. So, okay, that if it's coming from me, right, I'm projecting onto this thing pen, then does that mean I can just wish it to be anything? Everyone close your eyes for a second and wish this thing to be a stack of $1 million. On the count of three, we'll open our eyes. 1, 2, 3. Damn, it's still a pen. You can't just wish something into being. It's like, this is here right now. I can't change what's in the present. Like, that's a pen, you know? But does that mean that things are just in my mind? Like, okay, so if it's coming from me, then is it just in my mind only?
There's mutual determination.
Yeah, because if I come over to you, draw a mustache, there's going to be a mustache there, right? And everyone else is going to experience you having a mustache in your face. Like, this thing works. Like, if you walk onto the street, you're going to get hit by a car. Just because you're projecting car doesn't mean that the car doesn't exist. It exists, and it's going to hurt. And then, so going back to when we're here, and it's nothing, right? It's infinite potential. In Buddhism, that's what they say is emptiness. It's a lack of having any nature from its own side, right? We're constantly giving or denoting labels onto things. So this is empty of a nature, meaning it could be anything. It has infinite potential. So then, why is that important? You're like, it's a fucking pen, I don't care. It's important because you can apply that to every single thing, every feeling that you have, every thought that you have, your anxiety. And you're like, wow, okay, so how do I do that? So if I'm experiencing this as a pen, why am I experiencing it as a pen and not something else, right? And we say it's the imprints of our mind. The things that we say, think, say, and do, body, speech, and mind, are planting little seeds in our mind. And every time you plant a seed, it grows, like a watermelon seed. You put a watermelon seed in the ground, and it will grow into a watermelon, right? You're not going to get a banana tree from planting a watermelon seed. So if you're planting seeds in your mind, you're going to get a result later. And so for the pen instance, it would be like, I must have given somebody a pen for me to be experiencing pen. And the same with anxiety. So, and this is the part where you're not supposed to feel bad about yourself for doing something. It's just a way for you to be able to see how the things, there's cause and effect. It's not like a blame. So, so we are, that was the point of that. But social anxiety, I posted this today. If you're judging other people all the time, what are you gonna experience?
You're gonna think that they're doing the exact same thing to you.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
How many people experience social anxiety in here? And usually it's a bunch of like paranoia that people are either judging you or think like it's a mixture of things, but it's usually like feeling judged. So, and how many people have judged other people New York City, this place is full, I mean, good and bad judgment. I mean, there's beautiful people in New York City. But it's like, whatever, like, you know, I have nicer shoes than that person, or whatever the judgment is. Like, I mean, the subway is a perfect place to judge people. But it's constant. It's not like I do it on purpose. It's just like, you know, what we're putting our minds on. And we're constantly recording ourselves. Like, even when there's no one around, we are recording everything that we do. Everything we think, everything we say, everything we do. Like, there's no getting away from that. You're recording every moment. And they say, this isn't made up by me. This is, you know, 2,500 years old. It's actually, you know, it's a teaching that came from 2,500 years ago. It's a law of nature, but a man, a being, the Buddha, taught this. He realized it and taught it. So it's a, what was I going to say? I don't know, but hold on, it's coming. We're recording ourselves do this over and over. So everything that we record, everything that we think, say, and do, we're planting those seeds. That's what I was gonna say. They say you plant 65 seeds per finger snap. 65 seeds per finger snap. 65 seeds per finger snap. That's a lot of seeds. Like, what are all those seeds, right? And like, maybe one of those seeds is like your actual consciousness of like what you're actually focused on, right? But like all the stuff that's happening in your periphery, like the fact that there's an entire universe happening is like, you know, one of those seeds as well, constantly happening, and constantly being planted, and then constantly being ripened. So, okay, now how do we take what we've written down and apply this to that? But I want to first, before we move on, make sure everyone's, this is heady stuff. I understand it's heady. I want to make sure everyone's kind of understanding emptiness, because it can be slippery. So they say you have to hear it 3,000 times. So if this is your first time, this will be recorded so you can watch it 2,999. But does that make sense? This idea of basically that things have an infinite potential, that we are constantly projecting onto things, and they don't have to be the way that we think they are. Things aren't solid. And the way we experience those things is because we've planted those seeds in the past to experience them now in the present. And the reason we're experiencing now in the present is because maybe the causes and conditions were ready for that seed to grow. Is everyone cool with that? You just want me to move on so we can see where else this is going? Yeah, what's up, Rachel?
What if I have anxious thoughts of being murdered by people, but I've never murdered anyone?
So then she's saying that because you have the idea that your mind has been around for a time without beginning, and that there's past lives that we may not know about. Like if you're experiencing something now that you don't know why you're experiencing it, you're like, I don't do that, but you know, I keep feeling this way. It could be because and this is not something I'm going to go too far into detail right now, but it could be because of something in your past life. Whether you believe that or not is a whole other topic. They go into it very in detail in the Dharma courses that we have here, but I don't have time to go into that. So if you don't believe in past lives, that's fine. Don't just dismiss it, like put it on your bookshelf for later and you can get to it. All this stuff needs to be like very, very logically understood. It's not something that like I'm here to tell you and now you have to believe it. You have to test it out for yourself. So if it's something like that, then it could be because of something you did in not this life, and that's a hard to swallow pill. So thanks for asking that, because I think, you know, I personally experienced stuff like that too. But for the most part, the things that you're experiencing, you're probably going to see some flavor of you doing it in the past. And the thing with seeds is that they grow. So it might have been something very small, but like a watermelon seed that you plant, you get a whole watermelon. So from this to this, you know, they grow. Yeah.
I mean, also, if you're talking about emptiness of the pen and the emptiness of the thought, if that thought doesn't have validity and tangibility to it, then there's an interchangeability between the veracity of the thought that you're having about the pen versus the thought that you're having about being killed. That they're equivalent because they lack the essence.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't get too cerebral about them. It can go really heavy, and I don't want to go in that direction. I want this to be like practical stuff that we walk out of here with, knowing like I can destroy anxiety. So how do we purify these seeds? We experience anxiety, right? If anxiety comes from feeling nervous about things that are uncertain, then we should experience anxiety about everything because everything is uncertain, but we don't. And we have very specific triggers, and each of you has different triggers. Like my trigger, my anxiety feels much different and is triggered by different things than what each of you have. So you need to know these things for yourself, and that's why you're writing it down. The 4 forces of purification, or the 4 R's: refuge, regret, restraint, and remedy. So refuge meaning what you actually take refuge in. When something bad happens, okay, for instance, if you have a heart attack, you take refuge in a doctor or a hospital, right? Like, you're like, I'm gonna die, I gotta go to a hospital. You're taking refuge in that thing. But what we're talking about here is like, what's the real refuge? You think that if you have a headache and you take an Advil, that's gonna help you. It might not help every time. So does the Advil actually work? If it doesn't work 100% of the time, can you say it works? It works sometimes, but what's giving it that power is your seeds, right? So you're taking refuge in the fact that nothing is solid. Everything has the potential to change, and that you know, it's hard to, I want to say, and that you planted the seed. And I don't want it to sound like you're blaming yourself. That's why I'm hesitating to say you planted the seed. But let's just say a seed was planted for you to experience it in the current, in the present. So that's refuge. When you take refuge, you're like, I am experiencing anxiety. I'm triggered. It doesn't have to be what I normally think it to be, right? We're trained to think it's going to be a certain way because I'm feeling a certain symptom. But that's not true 100% of the time. So we're taking refuge in that. Regret. Regret is an intelligent regret. It's not it's like, they tell a story of a guy at a bar, he puts poison, and I'm going to screw this story up. There's poison in the drinks. He's with like 2 other people, and he has one of the drinks, and he sees the first person collapse because the drink was poisoned, and he realizes that his drink was poisoned as well. So he's regretting having that drink. It's like knowing that, oh shit, I just planted that seed. I regret doing it because I know the result of it. Like anything that you do, that seed is going to have the same flavor and it's going to grow. So you're regretting doing it. You're like, it's intelligent though. It's not like a guilt. The word guilt doesn't even come up in the Tibetan dictionary. They have intelligent regret, which is beautiful. And then it's restraint. It's like, you know, you could say, I'm not going to do this for another minute. Make it something achievable. I'm not going to do this for 5 seconds. I'm not going to feel, I'm not going to go down the road of my anxiety for 5 seconds. Or it could even be, the restraint could even be the willpower to feel restraint. It might not, because when you have anxiety, it's hard to say, I'm not going to be anxious because you're feeling anxious. But the willpower to say, I'm going to try and restrain is what we're talking about here. And then the remedy is doing the opposite. If you're fearing something, maybe step into it for a second. Like, it doesn't have to be like, I'm going to destroy this right now, because you don't bite off more than you can chew. But do something. Do something that's the opposite of what you, like an antidote of what you think you do. So make sure you have all that down, and Let me know if you want me to explain that better or again.
So are you saying the 4 sources that we can do it during an anxiety attack? Like,
Good question.
best time.
This is something that I like to say is gonna purify old seeds. It's something you can do when you're not in a high level anxiety attack, because you don't have much control in those situations. You're just freaking out, and this is for in the moment. So in the moment, this is a technique that I've learned called Nadi Shodhana, meaning alternate nostril breathing. It's a yogic, it's pranayama, if you're familiar with pranayama. So I want us all to practice it. This is something I was actually doing before I was studying all of this, because my sister took a yoga teacher training, and she was like, do this, it's gonna help calm you down. So alternate nostril breathing. You can do this anywhere. You might look weird if you're doing it in public, but like, who cares, because screw anxiety. So what you're gonna do is, everyone take their right hand. You're gonna use your right thumb, block your right nostril, and take an inhale. And then closing off the left nostril and exhale. And then inhale right. And exhale left. You can release and inhale through both nostrils. I can feel a difference from that, but it's fine. I do it all the time, so it might be because of that. But do you guys feel calmer just from doing that?
Yes.
You're balancing out both channels. So in yoga, you know how they have the side channel system. The side channels, each chakra is where the side channels actually tie and bind, and they cause the energy, the prana that's going through each channel can't go through if there's not a clear channel to go through. So then it bursts out each chakra like a wheel. Chakra actually means wheel. So if you're looking from a top view, it looks like a wheel at each chakra point. What this is doing is actually, untying or clearing a path for your energy to flow. If you cut a person open, you'd never be able to see the side channels or prana or anything like that. It's energy work. But if they've done studies for Nadi Shodhana, and it actually calms the nervous system. The nervous system is something tangible, you can see it. It actually calms the nervous system down. So when I'm in an anxiety attack, like full-blown anxiety attack, this is what I do. And you can do it at your own pace, obviously. So there's also, you can hold your breath. I wouldn't hold it too long. You don't want to like screw with anything happening with the energy there, but like, you inhale and you can hold your breath because you have oxygen, and then you exhale and you can hold. So you can do like 4 seconds inhale, hold 4 seconds, 4 seconds exhale, hold 4 seconds, and alternate back and forth. And what this is forcing you to do is be in the present moment. I mean, can you not be in the present moment while this is happening? In an extreme anxiety attack, like, yes, I alternate between the anxiety and me counting my breath and alternating between nostrils, but like, it really forces me to count, to alternate between nostrils. It's hard to not focus when you're doing this. So this is something that has been a game changer for me. If you have done this before, then I think you can testify to it. But so this is an in-the-moment technique. If it's not an extreme panic attack and you don't feel like this is necessary, then just being present with your breath, counting 10 cycles of breath, using your exhale for relaxation. The inhale is invigorating, but when you're having anxiety, you might not want to focus on it too much. Really focusing on all the way through the exhale and all the way through the pause between the exhale and inhale. So that makes sense. Is that cool? Okay. This is the remix. So what you guys wrote down, I want you to put in this bowl and pass it around, and then I'll take the bowl back, and then we're gonna hand back out everybody's pieces of paper.
Can you talk a little more about the 4 R's? Are you saying if you're prone to one of these, you can proactively attack it with those 4?
Yeah.
When you're in a good spot, or?
Both. So if you're having low-level anxiety, it's a good time to practice it. And if you're not having anxiety, it's a good time to practice it. Yeah.
I was curious, when you're talking about regret, you're talking about kind of instead of plunging forward, acknowledging past instances. Like, if you could clarify exactly what you
The regret is like, if you, yeah, I have to give you an example.
Shit, I did this, as opposed to saying, you know what, it happened, whatever.
Yeah, it's tricky with anxiety because most of the time it's like we're experiencing it and we're not planting the seeds. It's like it's ripening, but the regret comes in from planting, either with a thought, speech, or action, something in reaction to the anxiety. So if the seed ripens, we experience anxiety, then we usually react to it. And the reaction is not always something that's going to be helping us. It could be just planting more seeds for anxiety. So the regret is, fuck, I shouldn't have done that. And that takes practice.
So is that basically trying to undo the negative seeds that you just planted?
Yes, but
you're regretting?
you can't undo them, but you can burn them. Like, there's no, once you've planted the seed, then the whole purification process is to burn the seeds so that they don't ripen in the future. So I guess it's like, in a sense, undoing the seed, but technically speaking, they say once you've planted a seed, then it's planted. The only thing you can do is like make sure, burn it so that it lays dormant, that it doesn't ripen in your future.
Taking air away from others.
Yeah, exactly.
So with your meme, which is like constantly feeling judged,
Yeah.
right? You're sitting there going, this must happen because I was judging other people. Oh, damn, I've got all these seats for judging other people.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I hadn't done that in that way.
Yeah.
If I hadn't, I wouldn't have this feeling of being judged.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and you can do it when you're not even anxious, like, because, judging other people isn't usually when you're feeling anxious. It's usually the opposite. It's usually when you're experiencing feeling judged. So it's a proactive thing that you're doing to kill old habits.
It seems almost like a form of like undoing yourself. Like I have this anxiety, but if I think about it, I've caused anxiety to others. If I feel compassion and empathy for those people who I've caused anxiety towards, I can feel it towards me.
Yeah. Yeah. And anxiety is a disturbance of the mind, right? How many times have we disturbed other people's minds, even in a small way, and now it's growing. So it's like being kind, helping other people, not disturbing their mind. I mean, even the smallest things we do sometimes could be a disturbance, but it's 90% intention. It's not like, oh, I don't know if I'm disturbing their mind. It's like, it's intention. It's like, what are you doing in your mind? Because you could be saying, oh, you look so great, but really meaning like, you look terrible, and that's happening in your mind. So it's like that. It's like, what are you doing in your mind? But those are planting these things. Because what are you going to experience back from me saying, oh, you look great, but in your mind you look like shit? And people give false compliments all the time. Like, people are going to compliment you, and you be like, you don't compliment me that.
And it devolves the whole idea of compliments.
Yeah.
And then it causes more anxiety.
Yeah.
Because if you've done that, you know, oh, all the compliments I'm getting are just made up, because I made up a bunch of compliments.
Exactly.
Everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
So then it just kind of nullifies a little.
So this purification
Yeah.
is to like cut that at the root. It's to burn those seeds from coming back and planting more of them. Yeah. Thank you for asking. Yeah.
I have a question, not about social anxiety, but for example, my friend had a seizure last week all of a sudden.
Yeah,
And so as a person that is always afraid of like health problems, you start thinking, oh, when is that gonna happen to me? So how can you use these tools to kind of like cut that thought out of your head?
So the thought of being afraid of something that may or may not happen to you, right? It's a fear. So this is what you guys have to do with your own anxieties. You have to kind of get to the essence of what it is. It's a fear, and so you have to make sure you're not instilling fear or to others, right? There's also like this mysterious quality to it. So if you're being mysterious in a negative way, because there's good things that can happen, right? There's good seeds that you can plant. So we're not necessarily talking about those just yet. We're talking about the negative effects of things we've done. I don't have a straight answer for you because I'm not making the correlation exactly, but if somebody else has made that correlation, but I mean, it is a fear thing. So like, have you instilled fear, or it might not even be something that you feel like you're doing outwardly, but yeah, Rachel.
Yeah, it could be if you're afraid of medical stuff that's gonna like kill you or something. The thing that comes into my mind is although we tend to be careful around our actions with other humans, there's other minds that we affect on a daily basis that are not human minds. And so, for example, if you're constantly running after roaches in your apartment, or you scare birds on the street when you're walking through, you're not mindful of the fact that they're trying to eat. There's tons of little seeds that you planted that would then culminate into that experience. More likely than not, I think if it's like a really intense terror, like it could be, you know, past life or something like that. But generally, like, see where you might be making others uncomfortable or frightened in the moment.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
Just using the first of the steps for the 4 courses, it would be like, okay, I have this anxiety about having a seizure or having something uncontrolled happen to me. It could happen at any moment, right? So the first one is refuge, right? Looking at the reality for what it really is, the pen without humans, or the object without a person there, meaning that thought, that possibility is infinite potential. It could be the thought, maybe I'm gonna have a seizure, could be a terrible thing, or it could be, oh, that's interesting. You know, it could be like, oh, well, if I do, I should do these things. You could have 1,000 different reactions to that thought, but the fact that you're having a fear around the thought means that it's got that quality, pen or chew toy, fear of that. The thought itself, the refuge, is that could be anything. And it begins to remove the layer upon layer that we've put on it as fearful. My mum just passed away, and just before passing away, she said she was sort of withdrawing her attention from the world and looking at the sensations of her body. And I'm like, Mum, how are you feeling? And she's like, you know, I don't even mind the feelings anymore. The body's just a vehicle for pain. I think I'm okay. Like she says, I'm interested to know what's next. I mean, most people would be scared shitless, right? But because she was in the moment and so on, the same thought that I knew gave her fear 2 weeks earlier was sort of peaceful for her. The same thought. It could be pen, could be chew toy. So that itself could give you the freedom to say, next time a thought comes up, it doesn't have to be fearful. Maybe I'll look at it, I'll breathe through it. That could be just an immediate way of dealing with it and cutting its power for a second.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Did you want to say something?
You know, then I sort of decided not to, but I will anyway. So that I'm trying to follow the seed analogy, and actually both of these anxieties are the ones that I have, the social and the illness and the so I think it would all seem that it's easy to follow the seed analogy and this idea that we sort of, our past thinking has conditioned us to respond to present events in a certain way. It's conditioning them. And that with people and judgment, there's a reciprocity. So it's pretty easy to see that, well, if I feel judged, then it's likely because I reciprocate, I've been judging other people, but it's a little more ambiguous with the fear of death.
Yeah.
But what initially occurred to me, which I'm trying to articulate, is that, yeah, my fear of illness and doctors, it's all well-founded stuff. But it's not easy to see how I've done something that I could have done differently to avoid this, except for maybe not being as sensitive to other people's same fear.
Maybe
completely and maybe I don't know, like recognizing that it's not my unique fear somehow.
Yeah.
But that's the condition.
I think most people have that fear, right? And we're kind of born with that fear intrinsically. I would answer with what Hector just said too. It's like maybe not so much searching for the cause of it, but just taking refuge in the fact that it doesn't have to be that way. Will kind of destroy that habit of thinking. Because, when you don't have that thought, you don't have it. And you're not thinking, oh, I didn't have that thought. But when you do have it, you're like, oh, I've had this fear for so long. You're kind of pointing at all the previous moments when you had that same fear and tying them all together. But really, it's just this moment where you're having that fear. And we're trained to remember all the negative things that happens. Yeah.
I would say, I don't know if this is something like I recently found on YouTube, and I will have to find exactly what it is because I can't remember. But the idea of it was it's kind of like the old habit that might be happening is saying, well, I'm not okay, I could have done better, I should have done better. And then you're then it just keeps happening over and over and over again. And this one meditation that this gentleman said was, it sounded offensive the way he said, but he said every hour or whenever you think about it, if you take the time to say, if breathing, you can say I'm breathing, but he said this body that I'm in is breathing. Maybe it's sitting down. We got to sleep in a comfortable, as most of us get to, and you kind of go on to these things that you do have, and not that I don't have health, I'm not okay, I did and I couldn't, and more like I have, I am, I did, and then it creates a better, I think, thinking pattern about it. And then if you catch yourself again, then you're like, okay, well, all right, I am breathing, and then you can create more of that thinking pattern. I'll try to find, because he says to do it every hour, but and he said, if you do that for a week, tell me what you do. I never done it for a week, I couldn't do it. But there was a man who said do it for a week, and he said it's a really good thing. I guess it lasted 2 days, but it really, I guess, it helped change even during my meditation of saying, oh wow, what if I just start saying I am, or I have, or in this abundance of health or things that I want, or something like that.
It's a lot like the 4 R's, right? Because what that's basically doing is like in the moment of the anxiety, you're disrupting where your mind wants to go.
So your mind is used to doctors, needles, oh my God. Well, for me, like I had that needle thing for like a really long time. I would faint and freak out. And then my mind goes in this trap, and it's like really hard to move it off the trap. But if you can like punch it off, damage it just a little bit while it's going, then the next time damage it again, and the next time damage it again. It's not like an immediate thing. Like the 4 R's, it's not like you do it once and then it completely goes away. It's like, this can change. Okay, I know that it can change. I know that it's coming for me. Now I'm going to disrupt it, and when it comes up again, I'll disrupt it again. It's like eating a boss in a video game. You have to use like the big weapons a few times before it dies. You know, I mean, there are weapons that you just use once and then it's the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Now I want to talk about how we can plant the seeds for perfect peace of mind, because we're working on destroying old seeds and disrupting them, and we have a tool now for, you know, when we still experience the strong anxiety attacks using the breath exercises. Now what we need to do is plant good seeds. So this is called the 4 steps. We need to know what you want. You need to find somebody that wants the same thing as you. You need to help them get it. And then this is so key, you need to rejoice. I think everybody here already knows what they want because you wrote it down, right? You don't want this, but you know you want to get rid of it. And this is the remix part. So everyone's gonna grab one and pass it around. And this is now, you're gonna be working with somebody else's anxiety to try, you're gonna be like helping them secretly, or imagining that somebody else has this anxiety, and you're gonna try and figure out how you could help that person with their anxiety. And it might be something similar to yours or the same as yours, or maybe it's something that you've never experienced before. But now you have somebody else's anxiety. You're free of yours. Somebody's going to try and purify yours. And this is going to take your mind away from thinking about what you have, and you're going to start to plant good seeds by helping somebody else. So once everybody gets someone else's anxiety, this is so fun. I want you to write down maybe a couple sentences of, if you were to talk to this person, how you would try and help them. So just a couple sentences.
You want us to write it on the thing, on their thing?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Imagine if you were to actually help this person in real life, and you had to have a conversation with them, and they were like, I'm dealing with this.
Okay.
Then you'd be like, you know, maybe you could try this. Like just a couple of sentences of like, oh, maybe this would help. Because when you have your own things, you're blinded by them. You can't see past them. But when you're trying to help somebody else with theirs, usually you have some insight into what they might be doing. And a lot of times it's easier to give advice than to try and work on your own. So this is what we're doing.
Oh, you need one?
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. I don't need any more anxiety. I give it.
She needs more anxiety.
I need more anxiety. Give me some. Here, I'll come over to you.
I can have it. Yeah, I was looking around.
Oh wow, there's like one loaf.
Does anyone else not have one? Because I didn't write one.
Maybe someone wrote 2.
Maybe. Cool. confidence in it. So you guys are actually gonna hold on to these because this is from here on out. This is your first good seed planted. You planted one good seed of helping somebody. So you're gonna hold on to that. You can either hold on to it as a keepsake, as a reminder for this is when I started planting good seeds to overcome my anxiety, or if you want to make it an offering, you can burn it. Don't throw it away in the trash. It's sacred. Let's say hold on to it or burn it when you're no longer in need of it. But hold it as a sacred thing because this is your first good seed. And this is the rejoicing part. Every night before you go to bed, rejoice. So tonight, when you go to bed, you have this piece of paper. You remember, I planted a good seed. I actually tried helping this person. I don't know who this person is, but I know that I have a solution or maybe some tricks and tools that would actually help this person. I've actually tried in my mind to figure out some way of overcoming anxiety for this person. You're planting that seed before you go to bed. And then when you sleep, you want it to be like the last thing in your mind before you fall asleep, so that it grows as you're sleeping, because it's going to multiply overnight. So that is key. You want to rejoice every time you fall asleep. So if you need a reminder, we have like these glow-in-the-dark stickers above our bed that say Tartu, which means rejoice in Tibetan. Whatever sort of reminder you want to have, to think about at least one good thing that you've done during your day. And specifically, you want it to be about how you help somebody else get over their anxiety. Because this is going to plant the seeds for you to experience you getting over your anxiety. So I'll figure out, or you guys need to figure out what that reminder is. It's actually so hard. It's so easy, and I forget to do it so often. And when I talk to my teachers, I'm like, I'm experiencing anxiety, I don't know what to do. And they're like, why don't you rejoice more? And I'm like, because I can't, like I'm experiencing anxiety. And they're like, you have so many good things in your life. Like you just need to pull those seeds out. Like you need to rejoice, count your blessings, because like 99% of the time you are anxiety free. Like if you took the ratio of like your lifespan and all the moments in your life compared to all the times you had anxiety, it's 99% of it was anxiety free. And it's easy when you're having anxiety to reframe the past, saying like, no, I've experienced anxiety there and there and there. Like my whole life I've been anxious, there's been fear my entire life. But like when you don't have that, you actually can reflect on your life. You haven't had anxiety the entire time. Like when you do have anxiety, it only lasts for a certain time. And the fact that you're here means you've survived all of your anxiety attacks. So you need to pull the good seeds out and plant more of them. But thinking that you have to be this way forever is a lie. You don't have to have anxiety for the rest of your life. And if you plant the seeds, you might actually be able to see how anxiety was your teacher to get you to the point closer to enlightenment or whatever it is that your goal is, closer to ultimate happiness, sustainable happiness. Why is this like nagging anxiety in my life? And why do I need to overcome it? Like some people don't have anxiety. Well, it's not fair, but you do. So maybe treat it like a teacher, see what the lesson is, and realize that. Count your blessings. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, rejoice every night before you go to bed. Tonight, rejoice in the fact that you help. And we have a room full of people that experience anxiety, maybe you guys can connect and you can start doing the 4 steps with each other, because when you're doing it with somebody on a regular basis, it's going to be much more effective. If you can try and meet with that person and give an hour of your time each week, just 1 hour each week, do it. So whether it's somebody in this room, if you want to connect, whether it's somebody you know outside your family members, friends, whatever it is. And it's a secret. It's not something that I'm helping you with your anxiety. It's something that you're just gonna offer your time. You're gonna listen to them, offer any advice you can, like you did on this little piece of paper, because a lot of times we think, oh, because I experience anxiety, I don't have something to offer, but that's not true. So you know somebody experiences anxiety, you meet with them, you text them, you say, hey, like we should hang out. I would love to hang out. Maybe just grab a cup of coffee. Don't do it at like a bar or something where you can't hear them. And just have a cup of coffee with them and just listen to them and offer any advice like you can. Don't think of it as like, oh, I am going to help you, but just be there for them. And the more you meet, the more that they'll feel comfortable talking about their anxieties or whatever it is that's going on. And yeah, cool. Imagine if everybody was just meeting with everybody else and helping them with their anxieties or their problems, then we'd have an anxiety-free New York City. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming. Do you have any questions before we finish and dedicate? Yeah.
Just around these pieces of paper, I'm actually curious to hear what the other person has to say. Would you be open to setting up a little corner of a
Absolutely.
or something?
Yeah, it might be difficult to find the other person since your name's not on there. But yeah, go for it.
I've got the person that said, I'm always afraid of being naked in public. Is that you?
No.
No, I'm kidding. That's not true. I don't know. No. You said you take your clothes off. But I like that idea to be able to find the person, because I want to tell them I really want to help them. I'm like, oh my God, I don't have this anxiety, but if I did, this to me would be, oh, you could do all these awesome things. I'd love to be able to give this to that person.
And the person that I wrote this, I have that anxiety, and that's the one that I wrote down. And I thought it was so funny as you gave me the goal. I was like, oh, that'd be so funny. And I was like, and I was so excited for 5 minutes. I was like, no way. Why do I have this picture? So yeah, it's like, well, like I'm looking at who has my view. I'm just like, I was like, can I have my bag by this guy? And then like, just like interesting, like, be like, hey.
Whoops. Well, they're all anonymous, so good luck.
I have the triangle, if anybody called it a triangle.
Secret message.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to like vaguely share mine.
People can
Yeah,
recognize
we shared this, so.
Yeah.
Put them in a pile.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. Let's
Put
first
them on a pile.
let's first dedicate, give all the goodness that we've learned that has been in this space to all beings that may be experiencing anxiety. So, I just wanted to quickly recap, saying, yeah, like everything that your experience has changed. I already did this really, but you can burn those old seeds. You've already handled all of your anxiety attacks up to this point, and we're going to plant good seeds for future peace of mind. So let's dedicate that. So hands to heart, close your eyes. Imagine in the center of your heart is a ball of light that represents love and wisdom. And there can't be any anxiety or any fear or depression, anger, anything in that when there's love and wisdom. And imagine that light filling your entire body. And expanding beyond your body, reaching everybody in this room. expanding beyond this room. So everybody, every living being in New York City, until it reaches around the globe and beyond into this universe. And as it washes over everybody, they begin to smile, and they're carefree, and they're filled with love. And they know how to plant good seeds. Oh my God, thank you guys so much for coming. Feel free to follow me at Super Spiritual. No, but feel free to connect with everybody in the room here. If you guys want to see if you can find who had yours, that would be so cool. I didn't plan on that, but that's such a good idea. But yeah, follow me at Super Spiritual. I'm posting about anxiety, depression all the time, and it's all memes. But you'll also see it when I'm doing other events. Next week, I'm actually interviewing Marilise Campos, who does sound meditations here. She's also had this amazing story, like she's gone through severe illness and overcame it using meditation. That's next Wednesday at 8 o'clock for the Super Spiritual show. We're just going to be chatting. And what else? The meditation teacher training that's happening, Hector's going to be leading that. We have like 8 other teachers that are going to be part of that, some of which have done 3 years in silent meditation retreat. Amazing people. The teachers that we have on this training, just like 3 jewels, like you never know who they are. They're like literal angels that have destroyed most of their mental afflictions. So stay close. And I think that's it. Most of 3 Jewels is run by volunteers and donation, if you didn't know that. So if you're interested in volunteering, we do Karma Yogi shifts where you can get unlimited membership in return for that. Or if you're interested in becoming a member, you can check that out. It's one of them is a recurring donation that goes to the meditation and Dharma classes that we offer here, which keeps us alive. And then the other one is for unlimited yoga. So check it out on the website, or if you want to talk to me after. Thank you, guys.
Thank
you.
So I have this one.
I have this one.
We should just put them in the middle.
Yeah.